Welcome to another episode of the Jobology podcast. I'm your host, Brandon, and today my guest is an optometrist. Her name is Nargis, and she's going to give us some exercises we can do to strengthen our eyes, as well as tell us what we can be doing to protect our eyes at all times. So without further ado, Nargis. Thank you for being with me today.
I want to thank you for inviting me to your special podcast.
I appreciate it.
You are an amazing person.
Wow.
Disclaimer, I've known Brandon since the 5th grade, and
Yep.
he's a sweetheart. So thank you for giving me this opportunity.
I appreciate it. You heard it here first. So the way we always like to start out the podcast is I like to create like a baseline so that people kind of know what we're talking about. I just introduced it a little bit, but if I were to say, let's say we're catching up from being in grade school together, and I say, hey, Nargis, what are you doing nowadays for work? How would you answer that versus like, what's your official job title?
Well, I would say I'm an optometrist. A lot of people actually don't know what that is, surprisingly. But I hate just saying I'm an eye doctor.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it just comes
Yeah.
off as like super egotistical.
Sure.
So I'll just say, I'm an optometrist. And when people don't know what that is, I'll say I'm an eye doctor, eye exams, contact lens fittings, different eye stuff.
Gives me the willies just thinking about
it.
it.
I know.
Yeah. Oh man. I have a question about that later, so we'll see.
That's how I'd answer.
Nice. Is this something that like medicine or being a doctor, is that like something you've always wanted to do? Was it something that came naturally? Was it something that you did out of necessity? Like, why get into this in the first place?
I've always wanted to do something in the medical field. I just wasn't sure what. I went in for an eye exam, and I had asked my optometrist at the time, who is super old and super sweet. I asked him a bunch of questions, and he at the end of the exam was like, you seem very interested. You asked me a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Would you like to work for me? And I was like 18 at the time.
Oh, wow.
In undergrad, and it was my freshman year, and I was still trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field.
Sure.
And I was a bio major too. So I was a bio major because I knew I wanted to go the science route.
Yeah.
Just not sure specifically
Exactly
what.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew I wanted to have a 9-to-5 job.
Okay.
I didn't want to take my work home. I wanted to have a flexible job.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I know this sounds super cliche, but I wanted to make a difference in someone's life.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's admirable, of course. Like, I think a lot of people go into careers as like, I'm going to make as much money as I can. I'm going to do whatever, whatever suits me. And then having you be like, well, that would be nice, but I'd like to, help people actually.
I want to enjoy my job,
Sure.
And I get that with optometry. And
Nice.
I wanted to have the flexibility of like, if I do want to start a family one day, would it be, which career in medicine would give me that flexibility?
Like, is it feasible? Gotcha.
Right.
Where you're not like 12 hours a day somewhere you can't.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And I knew I didn't want to be doing anything like gory. I don't like the sight of blood. I don't want to. I didn't want to do anything like super invasive.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that in optometry. It's
Gotcha.
a pretty clean profession.
You don't have to do like eye surgery.
So there's only
Or is that
3 states, I believe, where optometrists can do laser.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But I think California just passed a law where optometrists can do some laser procedures. Oof. But overall, optometrists don't do any surgery. We take out foreign bodies. So if there's something stuck in your eye and it's not that big, and we're able to get it out with our algae brush and other tools, then we'll do it. But overall, we don't do surgeries. So it worked out for me.
Yeah. This is going to be an episode where I get the willies a lot and don't like anything we're talking about, because this is like, I can't do eye stuff. So it just trips me out. So bear with me on this, like, stuff. How? Like, is this something you have to go to school for? Is it something like, do you have to have a degree, or can I just be like, hey, I'm doing this tomorrow, I'm starting my job in optometry?
Sure. So it helps to major in something that fills the prerequisites for optometry school. So optometry school is a 4-year program.
Okay.
You do have to have a degree, and you want to fill those prerequisites. So since I was already a bio major, I had already filled the prerequisites. I had to take like an extra class. I think it was like OChem.
Okay.
So have a degree. You definitely need some experience,
Sure.
which I had. So work experience, preferably. You want to shadow optometrist.
Oh, wow.
You want to volunteer. You have to have a certain amount of hours. What else?
Sure.
So shadowing, volunteering, work experience. They
Gotcha.
they definitely want to see that.
But like, you don't have to have a doctorate or something per se? Or
No.
Okay,
As long as
gotcha.
you have a degree,
Okay.
you can get into
Nice.
optometry school. And
Okay.
yeah.
That seems like that could be a good job for maybe people who are in, like, kind of said, like, in biology, but are like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to go to med school. I don't want to get my doctorate,
Exactly.
but I still want to be in this
you
field.
you do get your doctorate.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You're an OD.
Oh,
So
okay.
an optometric doc. Yeah.
Oh, well, there you
Yeah,
go.
there's
See,
letters
learning
after
things I don't know
there's
all the time.
letters after my name, Brandon.
Oh,
Put some respect on my name.
Oh, shit. That's, again, something I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why I do this. Okay. And then is it like, you had kind of mentioned, hey, I was at the eye doctor and they, kind of offered me,
Right.
is this something you want to do? Is that like a way you go about it, or do you have to like usually find jobs online, apply? Like, how do you
It
land
all
it?
depends, to be honest. I got super lucky, but
Okay.
most people word of mouth, like, oh, I know my optometrist is looking for somebody
Gotcha.
to shadow him or is looking for a scribe.
Mm-hmm.
It's all super different. You can go online, but I think the easiest way is to just word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
That's like, I feel like through doing Jobology and like learning about a lot of different jobs, that seems like a common-ish thread where people go, yeah, somebody said I'd be good at this, or somebody suggested it to me, or word of mouth. Like, it's not necessarily I was on Craigslist searching all day, found this
Right.
job, and then started applying.
Right.
All right, interesting. Something that I always find fascinating about this job being a podcaster and doing Jobology is, what does an average day look like? So, maybe run us through like, if you were to go work for like a clinic, or I don't even know where you would go work.
So another thing that I love about this field is that there's so many different settings that you could work in.
Gotcha.
So private practice, which was my niche, like that's my go-to. You could work for a corporation like Costco or Walmart or LensCrafters.
Gotcha.
You could work at a refractive surgery center and work with ophthalmologists and do pre-ops and post-op exams.
Okay. Yeah.
What else am I missing? You could work in a hospital setting. You could work at a VA.
Wow.
You could, if you don't want to see patients every day, because we had so many bright kids in my class, but it turned out that they didn't have that. Their communication was
like
off.
that interpersonal.
Yeah. And so they were super book smart, but when it came to like patient interaction, they were not the best.
Okay.
And so those type of people will want to work for like a pharmaceutical company and maybe like promote their eye drops or sell eye drops and deal directly with other doctors who want to know more about
but
the
they
drug.
have the inside scoop on like
Exactly.
Okay. Gotcha.
So there's just so much that you could do with it, but specifically with the type of setting that I work in, which is a private practice setting, my day-to-day is kind of random, to be honest. So we mostly see patients that come in wanting to get glasses.
Gotcha. Okay.
Or wanting to get fit in contacts, which are super basic exams. Or we'll get patients who come in for a red eye or itchy eyes, or patients who have a foreign body stuck in their eye and want to get it out, like welders.
Gosh. Jeez.
And I know this is pretty gross, but we'll also see patients who come in complaining of a red eye, and it turns out to be like
something much
herpes
worse.
or like
so something really bad. Yeah.
Okay. So what else do I manage glaucoma patients or wet macular degeneration patients. We could also do vision therapy. We don't do it at my office, but some optometrists' offices offer vision therapy for kids or adults who have like a lazy eye or
Sure.
And actually, athletes can do vision therapy too. Like Steph Curry did some vision therapy.
Oh wow, interesting.
To increase his game, improve his game. So my day to day would be like eye exams, contact lens fittings if they're a new patient, first time contact lens wearer, We'll fit them in contact lenses. They go home, try it out for a week, come back. We want to know how the comfort was,
Sure.
how their vision is,
Wow.
stuff like
Jeez.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man. All right.
So
Is it like, you said kind of 9 to 5 earlier, so I'm assuming
Right.
like you start at, 9 o'clock, work till
Yeah.
5, yeah. And then is it just like, for you personally in private practice, is it something where it's just patients in and out, like appointments, or is it like, hey, I work in the office half the day, I see patients half the day, like?
typically, I see patients back to back, and it depends on what kind of practice you're in.
Sure.
Some practices will like see patients every 15 minutes.
Okay.
In my practice, we have 45-minute time slots. So I
Gotcha.
have 45 minutes to spend with the patient, give them their prescription or whatever
Sure.
they need. And then we'll have back-to-back patients like that. I'll get like a 30-minute to 45-minute lunch, an hour if we're not super busy in the morning. I don't do office work when I'm working. I'm the type of person who will get my charts done as I see the patient.
Gotcha.
So I do it right.
Seems probably like
Yeah,
the best
it's
way
the
to go
most
about
efficient
it.
way to do it. If I'm missing something, I'll go back at the end of the day. But typically, I get my charts done as I'm seeing the patient while the patient's in my chair. I don't take my work home.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's another question I was going to ask, is like, what's the work-life balance kind of look like? Is it, I'm always on the phone even when I'm home, or like when the day's done, I'm done?
Right. But I guess if you're a practice owner, it'd be different because, you're dealing with your business. So you do have to make phone calls. You do take your work home.
That makes sense.
I don't like that lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I just go in, do my job, and leave, and then tomorrow's another day.
Start again.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it salary, hourly? Like, how do you get paid?
That also depends on the type of
Sure.
setting you work in as well. In a private practice, they typically pay per day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
And the pay depends on what state or what city you're working in.
Okay.
So on the East Coast, I was working in New York and making so much money. Like, it was crazy how much money I was making. California, we don't make as much, unfortunately.
Okay. So it's like
is annoying.
regulated. It's not even like just pay you what you're worth kind of thing. It seems like it's that there's some regulation to it.
I guess.
Okay.
I honestly don't know why that is, because California, the cost of living is high out here too.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense.
I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. But typically, getting out of school, if you're working 5 days a week, 9 to 5 job, 8 hours,
sure,
you easily can make. It's a 6-figure salary.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're making 6 figures. You can make up to 200 if you're a private practice
like
owner.
Yeah.
And you're doing well and you're seeing a lot of patients. You can make $500,000 a year.
Wow.
It depends on, and it
should have gotten optometry, but can't do it with eyes, so no thank you.
But and if you work in a hospital setting, they pay per hour.
Okay.
So,
Gotcha.
And if you're working in a hospital setting, you're obviously going to make more in California.
Sure. Interesting. When you're working in private practice, is it like, are you your own boss? Do you have a boss above you? Do you have people under you? Like, how does that kind of like job hierarchy work?
If it's not your practice,
Sure.
you have the main doctor, and he's giving you his space to perform eye exams. So some practices have 2 spaces. So
Gotcha.
the other doctor, the private practice owner, will have one exam lane, and then his associate will have the other.
Okay.
Or like in my situation, he just has one exam lane. So I work the days that he doesn't work.
Gotcha.
So he's my boss, right?
Technically, yes.
Right.
Sure.
He's not there. I'm filling in for him. And then you have an office manager who's in charge of the day-to-day stuff.
Okay. Setting appointments.
Right.
All
Looking
that
at
stuff.
patients' insurances.
Sure.
You have an optician who helps you pick out glasses.
Okay.
They fit them on your face and take the appropriate measurements.
Yeah.
Or give you suggestions. And then you have a technician who performs all the pre-tests before the doctor sees you. Gotcha. So the puff of air that everybody hates, which measures your eye pressure.
Okay, I was going to ask about that too later. That's like my most nervous thing.
You are so funny.
I cannot. That's why
I would hate to have you as
it would be bad. Yeah. No, I would not be good. You don't want me.
That's
I'm not a good
hilarious.
one. Yeah. Okay. So puff of air.
The
Go
puff
back
of
to it.
air. There's the visual field test. That's like the video game one that checks your
Sure, I could do
peripheral
that.
field.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd
That
love
one,
that one.
Easy.
Yeah, so there's certain tests. Most offices now have a retinal camera that takes a picture of the health of the back of your eye.
Okay.
So the technician will run all those tests, give the information to the doctor, and then we in the back perform. We look at that information.
Gotcha.
And then do our eye exam, and then ask the patient what they're in for.
Okay.
And it's pretty straightforward after that.
All right. If I was starting out in optometry tomorrow and I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm going to get myself into here.
As a patient or as a doctor?
No, as a doctor. So
Okay.
like, let's say I'm coming into the field and I go, at first day as a doctor, Nargis, you seem to, know a lot about this. Do you have any advice for me? Like, what would your advice be for a new employee in the
Oh,
in
man,
the
that
biz?
is an amazing question, first of all. Don't settle.
Okay.
Know your worth.
Sure. That's a great piece of advice for anybody, I think. But yes,
Right. Know your
this
worth.
especially.
Don't settle. Keep your options open. Don't be stuck on like, oh, this is it. I have to work here. This person offered me this much. Be confident.
Okay.
Confidence is key, especially when dealing with patients. Like if they sense that you don't know something, they start grilling you with questions, and then you just start looking dumb.
Yeah. No,
Like-
I could definitely see that being a problem.
Right.
Where
So confidence is key. As a woman being in the field
yeah.
and being young, like when I graduated, I was 29, and I was
Yeah.
working with people who are way older than me.
Right.
And sometimes you're in settings where you have to demand things.
Yeah.
You know?
You have to like instill confidence in
I'm like when you're seeing patients, and your office manager will try to grill you and be like, why did you do this, or why did you do that? You have to stand your ground. You went to school for 4 years. You got that white coat for a reason.
Yeah. That's why I'm doing this.
Don't let a little office manager or a technician give you the runaround.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I've been in this situation, and it's not fun.
Yeah,
But,
no, I could see that.
Be confident, know your worth, and be nice.
Yeah.
Be nice. If a patient comes in, ask them how their day was.
Yeah.
Smile, say hi. Like there's a lot of just doctors in general who just get so tired and sick of seeing patients that they just
It's like, what do you
forget to
need?
be
What do you
human.
want? Yeah.
Yeah, I was shadowing this optometrist even before optometry school, and I loved that he would always ask a patient a random question, like, what did you do this summer? Or a question about their kid. It was so random, and he would make a note of that on that patient's chart.
That's a good idea.
And then the patient would come in 6 months or a year for their annual eye exam, and he would have that little note in their chart, and he would bring it up to them.
Like, hey, you going on vacation?
Or how was Hawaii? You went
yeah.
to Hawaii last year. How was that? It would make the patients feel so special.
Yeah, and it probably puts like a little ease on the patient of like, okay,
Right.
they care about me. It's not just I'm not just a number.
Right.
They actually care about me as a person.
Right.
All right. So that would make me feel a little better. Now, eye stuff, not so much. But what are we gonna do? Okay. And then as a patient, so let's flip the script here a little bit. If I'm coming in as a patient to see you for my first eye exam, I've never done it before.
Sure.
Is there something I can do that makes your job easier where you go, this will be so much easier if you just did this?
Be honest.
Okay.
Especially if you're a contact lens wearer.
Oh,
and
okay.
You come in for a red eye, you're complaining about your eyes being red and they're watering and all this stuff. And I ask you if you sleep in your contacts and you're lying to me and you
I'm like,
say
no.
Never. That makes my job difficult, and it makes your job difficult.
Okay.
Because I could easily tell, like, stay out of your contacts. I could prescribe a certain ointment or a certain drop to, help the situation. But if you're lying to me,
that makes it real tough.
It makes it tough.
Well, and then you could, I don't know in necessarily optometry, but in other fields of medicine, if I lied to you and then you prescribe something based on my lie and it's not really what's supposed to be helping me, that could even cause more problems later on down the road.
Exactly. So be honest.
Gotcha.
And when, the part of the eye exam where we sit the patient in the phoropter and we ask better one or better two.
Yes. I've
Please
seen that
be
on TV.
confident in your answers, because that's so freaking annoying when we're like, better one or better two, and the patient's sitting there like,
Uh-huh.
I don't know, they kind of look the same. Maybe one, maybe
Okay.
two. Like, it's either one or two. We're showing you different lenses. You know, like,
okay. Gotcha.
be confident and don't dwell. Don't think too much about it.
Yeah. Just go with it. Okay. And then now this is the point of the podcast here where I've come up with some job questions that I think are a little bit more related to optometry than just the general, you know, Jobology outline we kind of go through here. First question I have, and you guys might have caught on to this through all my williness and not enjoying this, you know, aspect of hearing all these stories. I'm deathly afraid of eye stuff. Like, I do not like putting eye drops in. I can't like have people around my eyes. I can't put the contacts completely out of the question. No way. So with that then being said, I've never had an eye exam. I've never gone to the optometrist. I have never.
And how old are you now?
We don't need to go that deep, but let's say mid-30s. Never been. Don't care to go. Don't want to go. My question to you is, do I need to go?
Yes.
Wrong answer.
Definitely yes. First of all
right.
Your eye health is so important.
That's true.
Especially if you have, well, what if you don't know your family history?
That's,
you know,
something I don't know.
Exactly. What if, you know, glaucoma runs in your family, or
Couldn't tell
macular
you.
degeneration, or RP, retinitis pigmentosa, which is
Yeah.
an important eye disease. It's important to know what your eye health is like.
Okay.
Second of all, we want to know, I mean, patients, when they hit their 40s, they develop something called presbyopia, where they have a hard time seeing up close.
Okay.
And they start holding things out to here.
Yep. That's why. Okay.
You know, so.
It's a classic.
Right. So you're going to eventually hit that age where you know, I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on your prescription.
Sure.
It depends on, you know,
A lot of
but
things.
most of the times, you know, you're going to hit that age where you're going to have a hard time seeing up close, and then you're going to need reading glasses.
Gotcha.
And I don't recommend, you could get some over-the-counter reading glasses,
Sure.
but
It'd be better just to have your own.
get your own
Okay.
prescription
Fit
for
to you.
your eyes, for your PD,
Perfect.
your optical center.
Okay.
So it's super important.
So,
And what you know,
it's not the answer I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear.
You-
No, you're fine. If your eyes look great, go
No.
for it.
Like, you could be straining your eyes. You don't know that.
Okay. True.
You know, and nowadays they make glasses with the blue light filter.
Okay.
And I know you do a lot of,
I
you
do.
work with a lot of screens. You
Yeah.
work with computers. You want to protect your eyes, and they do help. That
Yeah.
blue light filter definitely helps.
Okay. That actually kind of leads into my next question here too. Of what's the worst thing I can do for my eyes?
The worst thing you could do is a lot of up close work, a lot of screen time.
Okay.
And
Is there like a certain distance I should be away from the
so
screen if I can?
we have a thing that's called the 20-20-20 rule.
Okay.
So for every 20 minutes that you're looking at your screen, or you're looking at something up close, it could even be reading a book, you want to look away, at least 20 feet away, for at least 20 seconds.
Okay.
That allows your eyes and the eye muscles to relax.
Interesting.
Right.
All right.
So that's an important rule that you
Yeah.
should start doing.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're in like an office all day,
Exactly.
you probably don't have 20 feet. You know what I mean? Like your office ain't that big, so you gotta like
Get up.
away. Okay,
Get
gotcha.
up.
I like
Get
that.
up, move around, give your eyes a break.
Sure.
And then I know my mom always used to say when I was little, stop like reading in the dark.
Okay.
Stop watching TV in the
Yeah,
dark.
it's so close. Yeah.
No, just in general.
Oh, and okay,
Just
gotcha.
in general. She would always come, because I'd be studying in the dark, and she'd
Yeah.
be like, that's bad for your eyes. And I'm like, Mom, stop.
It's
like,
fine.
Stop making things
Yeah.
up. But it actually is.
Dang.
So her
knew
little,
what she was
that
talking
little
about.
myth is true. Like,
Okay.
if you're reading, or if you're studying, or you're doing computer stuff, like,
Yeah.
you don't do it in the dark. You're straining your eyes. It's not good for your eyes.
Gotcha.
You want the room to be a little lit.
Okay. Yeah, lit.
And then the last thing I wanted to say about that, sunglasses, especially living in Southern California, or if you live in Arizona or Florida.
Anywhere with a lot of light.
You want to protect your eyes from the sun. You don't want to develop macular degeneration. You don't want to develop pingueculas, which are, or pterygiums.
I don't even know what these are. They
Which
just
are-
sound so bad.
Which are little growths that you get on the white part of your eyes, just due to like mainly sun, dust, dry environments, and when they start
Contaminants.
getting bad. When they start getting big, they start really irritating your eyes. Your eyes will start tearing up.
Yeah.
They'll flare. And then we got to prescribe drops for that.
And then I can't put those drops in, so it's even worse.
Exactly.
Oh, brother.
And
circle.
And for women, like sunglasses, you know, for us, it's important to avoid wrinkles as much as I mean, for everyone. But if the sunglasses are protecting this whole area. You know, so.
Interesting. I've never thought about that. And then my final question here is there any, like, this might sound ridiculous, I don't even know. Is there any eye exercises we can do? Like, is there stuff we can do to, like, strengthen our eyes or to, like, make our vision better, like, just at home?
So what I recommended earlier, the 20-20-20 thing, super important.
Okay.
That gives your eyes a lot of time to, like, relax. You're not straining your eye muscles so much. There's certain vision therapy exercises that you could do to, you know, strengthen your eye muscles. I don't want to get too specific about that because I'm not a vision therapist, but you can see an optometrist. You can see an optometrist that specializes in VT, but they have so many different exercises.
Tools.
Like there's pencil push-ups are one where you look at something up close and then you look at something far away. There's a heart chart where you look at it almost looks like a crossword puzzle. You put it up on the wall. You're standing a certain distance away and you're reading the letters. There's so many different exercises you can do. But that's more like VT stuff, vision therapy stuff.
So that's a completely different job.
It's not a completely different job.
In the same realm, but something different.
Right. Okay. So we do those exercises for our kids or our patients who usually have like a lazy eye.
Sure.
Or
something they want to correct.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Okay.
But for most people, I just recommend the 20-20-20 rule.
Okay. And then something that I just thought of, you know, we talked about going to the optometrist. How often should people be going?
They used to say every 2 years. I recommend every year.
Okay. Like once a year.
Once a year.
Go get
like your routine. Eyes checked out. Okay. Exactly. Because you know we live in San Diego.
Sure. Fair enough.
Eye health is super important.
Yeah.
If you're a contact lens wearer, you have to get your prescription renewed every year.
Okay.
Glasses the expire every 2 years. But if you're a glasses wearer, you should still go in every year.
Yeah, just to get updated. Okay. Good to know. That seems very important. Again, I'm going to take all this with a grain. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll probably start going, but who knows? And then that's about it that I have for you on the job front. But I always like to leave the end for my guests to have their own time to either, you know, share something they feel like the audience should know, charity, cause, whatever it might be. But just, you know, here's your time.
I don't have anything to promote.
Fair enough.
Unfortunately. But I do recommend taking your eye health seriously. Mm-hmm. If you are a contact lens wearer, don't sleep in your contacts.
Good to know.
Don't abuse your eyes.
Yeah.
If you wear glasses and you need them, just wear them. Like
producer, are you listening? Are you listening over there, producer? Okay.
Just wear your glasses. Give your eyes a break. Don't let your eye muscles work harder than they have to.
Okay, you know? That's good. That's a good
Just
tip.
like respect your body, respect your eyes. Don't abuse your eyes.
Sure.
That's all I have.
That's a good tip. Say. Well, I really appreciate you being on today. Thank you for spending your time with us and, you know, sharing, I think, stuff that a lot of people either know but don't exercise. Where they, like me, I've always just thought, you know, hey, I got 20/20 vision. I don't need to go to the eye doctor. I'm good. Like I can see. I'm fine. But actually sitting down and talking with somebody that knows their stuff, it does make it seem a little bit more like, all right, I should probably take this a little bit more seriously.
Definitely, especially with you, because like I said, you're working in front of a lot of computers and screens and stuff. Like you could get the blue light filter glasses.
Good to know. Okay.
So yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story and sharing your time with us.
Thank you. I had a blast.
Well, that's it for another episode of the Jobology podcast, and thank you, Nargis, for taking the time out of your day to share with us. Before I let you guys go, a couple quick reminders. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and follow @Jobology Podcast on all major social media platforms, and check us out on TikTok. like we say to end every episode, make good choices.